Aloha and good afternoon. My name is Jürgen Steinmetz and I'm joining you from Honolulu, Hawaii with Livestream.travel and eTurbo News. Today we're continue to celebrate the launch for World Tourism Network. You find World Tourism Network on WTN.travel. And if you haven't joined WTN.travel yet, you can do so. There are free options to do this. And you would be joining a community of travel industry professionals in 124 countries now. We have a little bit more than 1,000 members, and this week is our big week. We have more than 32 events. Some of them are already concluded, and some of them are starting. And we're very excited to actually have our official launch on Wednesday, December 9th. Depending on what time zone you are, it's going to be one event where you meet all our various chapters, where you meet our presidents for various initiatives, and you learn more about what we're doing. And on the next day, on the 10th, we have our keynote panel, what is led by Her Excellency Sheikha Mai bint Mohammed Al Khalifa. She is the Minister for Culture in Bahrain, and she's currently running to become hopefully the next Secretary General for the United Nations World Tourism Organization. She will be joined by Taleb Rifai, Dr. Talo, Walter Memzebi, Alain Saint-Ange, VJ from the former VP of Etihad Airways, and many more. Also, during our launch, we have a very special event coming up tomorrow evening for some, and for others on December 9th in the morning. It'll be at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, where Louis Damour, and he's the founder of the International Institute for Peace Through Tourism, celebrates 35 years of the organization he started. He brings his own panel with IIPT chapter presidents from Iran, from the Caribbean, from Australia. And we're really excited that he decided to have this celebration during our launch. So please sign up at WTN.travel/expo, and hopefully we see you again there. But now I wanted to get your attention and welcome Robin Richman. Robin also has a very special event, and she's looking, I think, at tourism in a different virtual way. And I'm all excited to find out more what Steppin Out Travel, I think that's your agency in Chicago, is doing. And she brought also an international panel she will introduce from various parts of the world, from Bhutan, Rwanda, and so forth. Welcome, Robin, and thank you for participating.
Oh, thank you, Jürgen, and thank you for giving us this platform to share with your audience about the program that we're working on. When I saw that you started working on rebuilding travel and you had the initiative to get everyone to work together on rebuilding travel, I got very excited, and I said, this is something that I really want to share, because I know that we're talking about rebuilding travel after COVID, or when travelers, because of COVID, when travelers can start traveling again, you know, how we're going to handle it, and which is great. But what the program that I am initiating, which I'm calling World Wonders Up Close and Personal, is something that we can do right now to help particularly more vulnerable communities that, you know, can use a little, you know, generate some revenue. Program that I am initiating, which I am calling. So just a little background about Steppin Out. I am the founder of Steppin Out Adventures, which is 26 years old, which I can't believe. But we focus mainly on, well, we have three focuses on our trips: the outdoors, nature, being active, and interacting with local communities. And because we, of course, want to get involved with the local communities, I only work with local ground operators, or vendors who really know and understand the country and it gets a more authentic experience. But with most of the operators that I work with, particularly, you know, the ones who are on the panel, it's more than just that they're local. It's that all of them really are working to help their communities. So they have done a lot to help their different communities. I'm hearing some background noise, but I'll keep going. So, like, for example, Pepe Lopez, who I met 20 years ago. One of the things that attracted me to working with him is that he told me that he works with and trains porters for the various Peruvian treks to from villages that are overlooked by by different tour operators and and tourists in general. And so he was kind of looking to help everyone and give everyone a fair chance. Jigme Tinley from Bhutan Japel, right away we talked about working with putting projects into our itinerary that would help the disadvantaged. And even now we're talking about building a foundation together to help disadvantaged children. Lillian Kramer from Zohar African Safaris. She does amazing safaris, but what attracted me to her was her connections and caring for the different community-based tourism projects. And we might have someone who represents that join us in a little bit. And Greg Bakunzi from Red Rocks, Rwanda. He has been, and I'll let all of them talk a little bit more, but he has been doing these projects, not only helping his community with schools and reforestation, but also has projects that are hoping to help the whole country in Rwanda. And I'll let him talk a little bit about that. So all of these ground operators that I work with, and pretty much all of them in general, are working to help their communities. And where I got the idea that I wanted to do something to help them and to help them help their communities. And that's where I came up with the interactive virtual travel experiences. And I will talk a little bit more about that, but I thought that I would just let everyone kind of introduce themselves and their company, and then we were going to talk a little bit about how COVID has affected what's going on right now. So I'll start with Pepe. Oh, you're still on mute. Maybe I won't start with Pepe. Oh, there you are.
How are you?
We're good. Good to see you.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So it's nice, a pleasure to be here and be part of this channel. Thank you, Robin, for inviting me years ago. And also my company has the same age than your company, 26 years ago. Oh. 26 years old. So we started in the same time. And as you said, when we met, we were also have been working with a community and trying to training them, because we were in our beginning. We strategically, I start to work with them in the way to develop and decide nice places where to visit or where to do our adventures. Also to develop to work with people, with the community. So at the moment, there are some people from that community that already are tour guides. They have some own business. they are working in tourism. So we really, now we can see some
I know you're freezing a little, but I know that
in our way to be here. We also have been working with several US-based tour companies as you, but also the same line. You know, we are doing like a river cleanup. We are doing reforestation programs. We are doing training, and we also are including our adventure trips, a lot of cultural experiences are doing, I guess, in their own countries. You know, one of the main ceremonies or one of the main cultural experiences we have is the Pachamama offering, the Mother Earth offering. So in the Andes, we are very proud about the mountains from where we are coming from. So the mountains, the Mother Earth is very important in all our activities. And as I talked to you a few days ago, we have a culinary experience related with the Mother Earth. We call the Pachamanca, which is cooking food under earth, underground. So it is something that I would like to show you or to do in the future presentation, something, a ceremony in live, in real time, just to show you and you be part of our experience, because I think it's something very special, unique, and I think everybody will like it.
yes.
So thank you for
No, thank you. And I will, I have a few questions for you, but first I'll let Greg, who we can't see right now, but Greg, can you introduce yourself in Red Rocks? Are you there? Maybe not. Okay, there you are.
Okay, good. Good morning, everybody. And yeah, I'm so excited really to see some of my friends that I haven't been seeing for the last couple of years. Like Jagged, we used to meet in so many conferences, but now we are meeting here. Thanks, Robina, for really organizing this special event, even bringing us together. You know, you have this great idea of bringing us together. I would quickly like to jump on what we are doing in Red Rocks. I started Red Rocks back in 2011. And the whole idea was to see how can we develop more tourism product on top of the famous tourism product that was going on in Rwanda, where everybody was really coming for the mountain gorillas. But after doing that, there was nothing else to do. So all what we did was to come up with all these ideas and try to develop some cultural programs. Most of our tourism programs are all these activities that you find from the local within the communities, which goes with the drumming, where Robin has taken a great picture from his last trip that he did in Rwanda with his team. And I really liked to see something like that, where they were really doing the drumming experience with our local communities. We are also showing people how to make the beer from, the banana beer. So that's also another experience. And I liked what Pepper says about the food festival. The food festival, every culture has got its own way of doing the food. So we also do something like that, where we do like a cooking experience and we involve our guests into that. Within this idea that we started back in 2011, then went to 2018, we came up with a non-profit organization behind it called Red Rocks Initiatives for Sustainable Development. And the idea also behind this initiative was to see how can we move from one place to another with the same initiative that we have used in our hometown to other cities around Rwanda. So now we are working on setting up what we call Redworks Community Conservation Centers. And with these community conservation centers, we are going to look into every area that we will be setting up this center and see what kind of community tourism can be carried in that area. And once we start doing something like that, we are going to make sure that you can move from one area to another. Let's say, for example, if people are able to do like the banana beer from our hometown, other people will go to another place and then they do like the sorghum beer because they grow sorghum there. And we are going to try to see how can we create the tourism experience within those community centers that we are going to be setting up. This is what we have been really working on, and there will be an exchange of those programs around and giving more experience to different places and tourists that will be really visiting us. They will be making drums. We're going to be showing them how to make drums. They will be doing the homestays. So all these activities are the ones that we are working on. And we are very, very excited to see the Steppin out adventure coming in to be really working with us. Thank you.
Thank you. And now I'm going to have Lillian and Mama Anna talk about your programs. Wait, you're still muted.
I think, Lillian, you have to turn your microphone to unmute
yeah,
it. There we go.
Hi, everybody. I'm grateful that I'm part of this panel, and I have Mama Anna with me. She is one of the really bravest women in Tanzania that are actually running their own project. And she's been doing great, but of course, COVID has affected everybody. So I'll talk about myself first, and then Mama Anna, I'll try to be a translator for her because she doesn't speak English. But for me, I own a safari company called Zohar African Safaris. It's a Hebrew name. Zohar is a Hebrew name that is actually means light or radiant. And yeah, so Zohar African Safari is a safari that aligns on everybody who comes here. So when I started Zohar, the very first thing that I had in mind was to have an experience that would actually have people remember Africa, not just about the wildlife, but also the culture and the local community. It's very well known that Tanzania has very kind and warm people. And as part of the programs that I normally arrange, cultural visits. So, and when visitors come to Tanzania, they have to actually be part of the community and do something that out of the normal safari, you know, like the normal casual safari that everybody does. So by bringing people to these cultural groups and they get to experience the really culture of Tanzania, and also they get to meet the people, they spend time with them, and at the end of the day, they create connection that is in one way or another very helpful, apart from just, you know, contributing something at the time of the visit. So our cultural activities are very authentic in a way that it's normally a half-day activity. So, for example, if you're visiting Mama Anna and her project, you actually spend a whole day or half a day with her going through all the programs that she does. So she does, for example, cheese making, she does honey harvesting, they also do coffee making. So you see the whole process of how people do things here, and you be part of it by participating in what they actually do as part of the culture. Same as a visit to, for example, a Maasai Maasai are very famous. Everybody in the world know Maasai people. But our cultural experience with Maasai is a little bit different. It's not just going there and singing or dancing, but it's also about just really being part of them. That including being there in the morning, participate in like milking with the women, maybe help them to make their little igloo kind of houses, you know, go fetch water with them with the donkeys, just really men go grazing, and they all do this, all the activities with them. And through that, they create a connection and people really get into understanding the Maasai culture in a different perspective. Same as the Bushmen, actually the last hunters and gathered in the society in Tanzania. They actually live quite close to Ngorongoro. Ngorongoro is very famous. It's the biggest caldera in the world where animals live, and everybody who comes to Tanzania, they also want to actually see that. So close to Ngorongoro crater, there is a tribe called Hadzabe. They are Bushmen, so people visit them and they actually have a great experience with them, including hunting and do their own daily activity with them. So apart from just bringing visitors to this local tribes, we also work with them closely, including supporting them, for example, if they need food, if they need, if they have, for example, the Maasai, we actually had the chief of the Maasai wants to have a course, an English course, so we also supported that. Just to be able to actually attend visitors and explain more about that. Yeah, so we really work in one way or another with this community to make sure that they also have not just the tourists, but also we create a connection and we actually support them every now and then to make sure they have that sustainable relationship with whoever comes to Tanzania for safari or just for cultural experience. So yeah, and apart from that, as a company, we are actually more focused on a more, not just wildlife, because everybody actually takes visitors to see wildlife, but also doing activities that are more interesting, recreational, that they can make people get out of the safari vehicles and actually do something different that will make them remember Tanzania throughout their life. So I will introduce Mama Anna, and she will tell me a little bit about she'll tell you about what she does, and I will be the translator. You're gonna say hi to them.
Hello.
My name is Mama Anna. I'm from Tanzania.
Yeah.
So, jamani, mimi ni Mama Anna.
She's Mama Anna. She's a Tanzanian, obviously.
Mimi ni Mtanzania. Mimi ni mama ambaye sikubahatika kupata elimu.
She is she didn't really get lucky to get that education that everybody gets, like high education.
Lakini kwa kuthubutu nilikuja baada ya kuolewa nikapata masomo ya ujasiriamali kutoka mashirika mbalimbali.
After she got married, she got entrepreneurship education from different organizations in Tanzania.
Nilijiunga na shirika la Haifa International.
Haifa, it's one of the
international projects.
So there's an organization here. It's called Haifa International Projects. So she actually joined Haifa.
Ambao wao ni wa Amerika ambao wanasapoti wale wafugaji wadogo ambao hawana kitu, wale watu ambao hawana hata kitu.
So Haifa is actually an American organization that supports the very lower livestock keepers. Something like that.
Wale wanasaidia ng'ombe, nyuki, yani mbuzi, wanaangalia kila ukanda, ngamia, yani kila kitu, kila ukanda unapata kile.
So they actually support people who are dealing with livestock keepers. They also deal with honey harvesting, camel, and yeah, those just I think dairy products or something, and yeah.
Kwa hiyo mimi nilibahatika kupata mbuzi wa maziwa na ng'ombe wa maziwa kutoka Haifa.
So Haifa International organizations supported her by giving her some goats and a cow.
Baada ilikuwa ni mwaka wa 92.
Was 1992 by then.
Mwaka ule wa 92 ng'ombe wangu alikuwa tayari wameshampandisha. Kwa hiyo ng'ombe yule alipozaa, ndio nikathubutu sasa kutafuta ni namna gani yale maziwa nitaweza kuyafanyia kazi, kwa sababu tulijiunga kikundi cha kina mama kanisani na kila mama akapata yule ng'ombe. Kwa hiyo baada ya kuzalisha ya maziwa, mimi nikaungana na wale wa mama tukaendelea kufanya hiyo.
So Haifa actually supported her by giving her the cow, and then because Haifa was actually giving cows to many women in their village, so they actually came together and they started working together on milk production and other things.
Basi wale ng'ombe nikaona sasa sina chochote tofauti. Mungu amenipa ng'ombe, nimepata mbuzi. Sasa haya maziwa nayapeleka wapi? Nikachukua hatua. Ile hatua nikaenda kule mjini, nikawa natafuta nitauza wapi yale maziwa, kwa sababu kule nyumbani hayana wanywaji ni mengi.
So after a time they had a lot of milk, because the cows were really producing a lot of milk, and together as women they had a lot of milk because they all received cows. But then she had to actually, because that milk cannot be consumed by the villagers or the people around her, so she had to go out and try to find a market for the milk.
Lillian, can I just, I know I want to kind of move on, so just to give everyone a chance to talk. So I know a little bit of, Mama Anna's story, because what we're going to be doing, in our virtual experience is talking about, women and entrepreneurship and, having an exchange, and she's going to kind of be part of that. So, but you, we'll come back around. I just want to go through the rest of the introductions, and then we'll talk about what I want to hear from her in a little bit is, really like how COVID has affected, the community and everything else, and why our programs hopefully will be able to help. So we'll come back around because I'm still waiting for, I just want Jigme and Tinley to introduce themselves. So, yeah. Okay, we'll come back to you.
No worries.
Okay. Jigme.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening, depending on your time zone. Hello, my name is Jigme Tinle, and I have a colleague here with me on the panel, Mr. Tinle. He will introduce himself. One of the most common questions that we get when we say we are from Bhutan is, where is Bhutan? So I'd like to say a little bit about Bhutan. Bhutan is a very, very small country, roughly the size of Switzerland, situated in between the two largest populated countries in the world, China towards the north and India towards the south. I've had the opportunity to meet Robin sometime in 2015 in Chicago, I think. We had a very good conversation, and since then we developed a kind of a cordial business relationship, in the sense now we are more of a friends than the business partner. So to speak about the company, Tinle and I represent a very young company called Bhutan Jikpel Tours, and it's a very young company. We have had the honor of getting guests brought in by Robin 2 times in Bhutan, and most of the tour companies here in Bhutan largely depend on cultural tourism. So what Robin and I did was something different. We we went to a small community monastery somewhere in the west, and Robin and her group donated some money for a hostel construction project. And the second time around, the Robin and group also visited the same monastery, and they interacted with the monks. By the way, the monastery is a small community monastery, and the monks there are all young, coming from disadvantaged family backgrounds. So they depend largely on community donation. So Robin's group had been very supportive of that project, and we are planning now, maybe sometime as the time goes on, to connect to that place again virtually, and then plan out a program. So I'll ask my colleague, Mr. Tille, to introduce himself. I think he is a trained senior guide by profession, and he'll have many interesting stories to share.
Yeah, actually, Tinley, I know you were talking, one of my next questions going around is, what are, people and tour guides doing during, the COVID time? Because, different countries have different, sometimes they're, governments taking care of their, people in the industry, and others are not. And so I just wanted everyone to, we can give, Tinley, if you could tell us what's, happening in Bhutan, and we can see, who else we can talk to, because I want to bring that all back to, everyone so far has really talked about, the programs that we have live, but they're actually the programs that we're working on bringing virtually to people, which will also be a way of generating revenue for the community projects, such as the one that Jigme was talking with the monks. So Tinley, will you tell us a little bit about what's going on in Bhutan for tour guides, and during this period where you don't have any tourists?
Good morning, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank Robin and Jigme to join me in this meeting. And to introduce myself, I'm Tiletopge, working as a freelance tour guide in Bhutan. And if I tell you guys a little bit about how COVID-19 have affected us, especially 60,000 of us working on the tourism industry had been directly affected by this COVID-19. And from another side, we are given support by His Majesty the King, at least $180 in a month since from last April to survive ourselves. Otherwise, all 60,000 of us, we are fully depending on tourism industry. So for that reason, at least to survive in this pandemic, we are fully given a support by His Majesty the King. Not only that, those who are interested to work furthermore are given chance to develop developing infrastructure like restoration of ancient trails, and then cleaning camping at mountainside, at river bank, and especially in and around temples. And these all are paid at least $10 in a day to top up that $180 given by His Majesty the King. And me, I am also working for the trail restoration towards Tiger Nest, one of the beautiful temples in Bhutan. So I have been working there for almost 3 months. Trail restoration as well as cleaning inside and outside the temple of Tiger Nest. And we are still, most of the tour guides, we are still engaged in such project during this pandemic. And not only that, some are given a short training, like some they are given training especially for the tracking guides. Over here, we have, let's say, two types of guide, types of license, cultural and tracking. And to get a tracking license, at least we have to serve 5 years as a cultural guide. And most of the guides, fresh guide coming in the industries, they are given chance to train for that tracking guide. And some they are engaged in doing training in tracking guides. Some they are doing training for photography and so on. And this is how we are doing in this pandemic.
It was gorgeous, serene. I would have loved to stay there forever. It was so beautiful.
It was wonderful. Nice, easy stroll up here.
Rafting along the Himalayan.
We'll see if we're good aura makers after we have a drink.
We believe in like karma. Looks like in the previous generation, we were born to opportunities.
Thoroughly enjoyed watching how we made the ara, and then participating with the actual cooking, pressing all the noodles, and watching how they sauteed, cooked, prepared, and I'm waiting to taste it.
I think this will cure whatever ails you.
We all know how beautiful Bhutan is on the outside when you look around, but it's great to come into a home and also see the beauty of our surroundings here and the warmth of our hosts.
Being able to sit in and witness their service, because that's something I've never been exposed to before, and I'm fascinated by world religions and the peacefulness and the theology of Buddhism. So that was really interesting.
I haven't done a whole lot of hiking or trekking, and so to have the chance in a very supportive environment to be able to do what was a challenging trek and get through it and make it up and make it down, was a big accomplishment and something I really will cherish in terms of stepping out of my comfort zone.
There's not a lot of flash like you have in America, but I kind of like that.
You know what else too? Is a wonderful group of people. We had like excellent guides, and the people that were on the trip were really, really fun, and that really makes a huge difference.
I'd say every single day was filled with things that I'll never forget.
I think we found the meaning of happiness. Oh, thank you. I know it's been really hard. I know, Lillian, you were telling me that, you know, like you walk in Arusha, which is like the main tourism, and, you know, people just don't, you know, there's no tourists to a lot of people, shopkeepers and everyone. How is Mama Anna making do without, I mean, her project was community-based tourism. How is she making do during this time? Well, yeah, you have to unmute.
Sina mahali pa kuuza sasa hivi, mahoteli yamefungwa, supermarket imeleta inunuliki, kwa hiyo tumeathirika sana.
So according to Mama Anna, it's not just about the visitors because she's also doing cheese production as part of and that was the story about the cow that she got from the organization. So she transformed the milk to cheese so that she could have, the cheese could stay longer because she had a lot of milk. So, but then because the tourism is actually affected with this pandemic, they're not tourists, so there's no demand of cheese to the hotels. Even the local people are very sensitive about how they actually use their money because there's no enough money on the system or in our daily life. So, cheese, we don't really, like in our culture, cheese is not part of our culture. Most of these cheese are used by hotels, people in tourism. So she's very much affected as an individual because of, she couldn't sell her products. That includes honey. All these hotels also use honey. And so basically that she has no market for her products. So that is really very difficult for her. She has to find a way to work it out. And she doesn't even have a place to actually store cheese because, after a time, they don't get better. So they get birds. So they have to, they have to be sold out. So if you keep them alive, then it's
right.
So it's really...
and that's, and that's one of the things that I know, Jürgen, that you were talking about in terms of, talking, how this pandemic is affecting the small, rebuilding travel for the smaller businesses, and, talking with someone who, makes cheese for hotels and now has nothing, is where, all of these reasons, and we'll get to a few others, is really why I, came up with the virtual experiences. That's something that we can do now, as opposed to waiting till the tourists come and putting it online virtually. But before I explain more, Pepe, what is going on in Peru in terms of, what are the guides and the trekkers doing? Are they making money, or is anything, how is that working?
Yeah, the whole country, especially the tourism business, was totally stuck. So we are just restarting since more or less a month ago. The domestic travel, we have been allowed to travel again. So airports, domestic air flights were open. Some airports start to work. So people, especially from Lima, which is the capital of the country in Peru, start to go and visit some cities, especially cities that normally are visited by international tourism. So now domestic tourism is start to move around, giving some opportunities for local companies like us to start to restart again, to put in practices all our biosecurity protocols. And in fact, we are receiving our first international people coming in December 15th, which is very positive and very exciting for all of my crew, of my people.
Right.
So many people were suffering because tourism in some cities like Cusco has been the main economical income. So in one side, especially people from the countryside have to go back to their own countries or their own land or their own communities and learn or restart some local work like agriculture. So many pieces of land that have been forbidden in the last years now are start to be working again. So this is something that you can feel But as Cusco is the main tourism city in Peru, now is start to be activated again, and people is very happy, no?
Yeah,
Just
hopefully.
expecting like our international frontiers come to be open very soon. I think by December 12th, more international flights are start to come.
Well,
So this is good, yeah.
that is good. And Greg, what's going on with all year? I know that your whole program is based on community tourism and, bringing revenue from that. How have you been getting by?
Since this pandemic came on, it did affected all our community-based tourism initiatives. So we had an
all year. I know that your whole program is based on.
Yeah, we had an art center which is close to the national park, and we had some women and children, youth who were engaged in art and crafts. But now these days they can't really say anything, and we have gone into like working on workshops. We are doing like some skills development. We are doing some. We are carrying on like skills development in agriculture, where we have developed some kitchen gardens. And with all these kitchen gardens, there are those small gardens that are next to their kitchen, which the families can really get some food from and grow their own vegetables around. In terms of our workshops, we do workshops which are related to tourism and conservation, showing them that tomorrow it's going to be better. Even though the industry has been affected, but still there is a hope that it's going to open up in the next couple of months when things gets better. So there is a hope. We are building a hope in them that we can't give up, but we still have to sustain ourselves by creating something around us. So that's what we are doing in terms of the culture, the kitchen gardens, and also trying to carry on regular workshops.
Yeah, I love that, and I love the fact that all of you have been really resourceful of figuring out. I know that I think both in Bhutan and Peru that some of the guides are now like working in agriculture, and everyone's kind of finding something else. But I wanted to just kind of reflect on what people are doing and who the people people on the panel who we're talking to that I really want, I wanted all these people are caring for, the other people in their community. And that's where we've come up with each of them a program for the virtual travel experience. And I know that there are virtual experiences out there. Everyone, I've heard people of taking people on walking tours and different virtual experiences, but I think the key to the difference with this program is that it is an interactive virtual experience. And, everyone here has talked about their community projects that they work with. And that is really what these virtual programs are going to be based. I think it's the people of the countries that make the countries worth, visiting. I know there's beautiful sites, but it's, really engaging and making those connections with people. And I am using the virtual platform to create an engagement and so like we will, do something with Mama Ana, and we will like in Peru make, learn how to make the under earth cooking and, and different things that we're going to do. We're not going to have a lot of people on at one time so that it can be a shared experience. So I'm really excited about that. We have, one of the ideas, that, we've all talked about is, how can we engage people? and really have a conversation. And I even, with Mama Anna, I really wanted to invite other entrepreneurs to talk about, with her about her idea, how she took a cow and made a cheese factory and then was able to pay for a school, how we can get, maybe share ideas, get ideas from her, or give her ideas to help hers grow. And this can all be done virtually. My goal is, of course, to generate some revenue for, the more vulnerable communities, but I also think that it's a great marketing tool, so that as soon as we do get back, into full travel experience, that we're gonna, we can give these little, during the next few months, until people start traveling again, people can get, learn about a country, make friends with someone in a country. I did a test run with Greg in Rwanda, and I had someone go on the, come on with me, because I wanted to, see what he said. And when we hung up, of course, my purpose was to figure out how to generate some revenue for Greg and his community. And when we hung up, the participant said to me, I just moved Rwanda to the top of my bucket list, and I can't wait to meet Greg. And so I think that, these experiences will be, a way for people to future market. And I have one other little story that just happened the other day, is that a woman from an oncology service, they usually do a winter camp for kids with cancer. And of course, they're not doing it now, and they're doing it virtually. And she just asked me if we could do some of these programs. And I, just thinking about, these kids, the education about being able to share Bhutan and Tanzania and Peru and Rwanda with, with them. It's something really unusual, and it could be another great way of education. So I'm excited about the different ways it can go. And I also see these programs not being something that is, ends when the pandemic ends, because there are a lot of people who can't travel and still are interested in learning about the different cultures and things like that. So I'm hoping that, this is something that we're starting. And I'm also, hoping that we can possibly even make this like a WTN initiative, that we, that the members work together, that we actually have, people sharing, there's, other, small local operators that want to get involved, and also people who, know people who may want to, join and, engage in a program, so that we can, keep them going and hopefully do something for the community. So the different communities that, the ground operators are working with. I didn't want to go, I don't know how much time we have, but is there, I can let, each of my panel, before if we want to take any questions, we can, but if you want to just say, is there something that you want to add, like Lillian and Mama Anna, to anything? Is there anything you'd like to add?
As far as I can say about this COVID, yeah, it is actually really affected the industry. Did I turn my mute on?
Yeah, you're good.
No, you can hear me. Yeah, so there's nothing much I can add about this, the impact of COVID here in Tanzania, but it's not just about the tourism and people working in the tourism, but this this pandemic has really affected not only Mama Anna, even the people in a very low economic standard. They've been affected. women who were selling vegetables in the market, you know, because Arusha is a transit city for all the safaris. So anything that affects the safari industry affects everybody here. So from October has been a little bit okay. Like we started receiving guests again after 6 months of nothing, but then the second phase that, you know, most of the East African tourists are coming from Europe. I think European market is the best, is actually the most reliable market. Of course, there are Americans, but then the second phase has affected everybody. So, you know, we are as a community, as a company, with our guides and everybody who is actually a part of our channel, we are trying to support each other. And as you said, some of the guides, I think most of them have gone back to agriculture because, you know, if there's no tourism, what else can you do? And I think it's the same for Mama Anna. She's actually going back to just cultivating whatever she can around her house. Is that the case, Mama Anna? Unafanyaje kupata income kwa sasa hivi? Sorry, one minute.
Kwa wageni bila mwenyewe ni ngumu sana kwa sasa hivi, ni ngumu kwa sababu saa soko ndio hakuna.
So it's very, yeah, so it's hard for her, and it's really hard. We don't know what the future holds. We're just hoping for the vaccine to come out, and that's
yes, we agree. Tinley or Jigme, do you have anything you want to add before we take off?
I think as Lillian from Tanzania mentioned, when it comes to tourism, it trickles down to the lowest level of the society. So here in Bhutan, because we are situated very close to India, our borders are still closed because the number of COVID cases in India is surging by the day. So we cannot take risks. So that's why our borders are still closed, and the tourism has been badly affected. As Tinle mentioned, 60,000 of the tour guides and hotels and all those who are associated with tourism. And as Robin mentioned, I think virtual tourism is the way forward for now, at least. We don't know when the COVID vaccine will come out. Even if it comes out, we don't know whether the third world countries would get it or not. It will take time. So I think for now, the virtual tourism is the way forward. And I'm quite excited, as Robin and I discussed earlier, we will take the people who want to come on virtual program to the monastery back. I think it's a very beautiful community where the community has sacrificed electricity for the good of the black-necked cranes. It's an endangered bird which comes from Tibet during winter and goes back to Tibet during the summer. So community there has sacrificed their basic need, electricity, for the love of the birds. It's a community tourism. It's a very sustainable community tourism. So hopefully we'll discuss further and take virtually there. Exactly. Maybe Tille can add something to that. Tille and I have been planning about this and discussing about this.
Oh yes, we're looking forward to doing that. Tinley, anything else to add?
Yeah, to add a little bit, most of our friends, they are engaged in agriculture farming work, again, which is fully supported by the government. They are given machineries, financial support, and everything. And with this pandemic, we are also experiencing some agriculture farming work.
Pepe, do you have anything to add? Oh, you have to unmute.
Yeah, we are just hoping to have the business back. But in the moment, we are working in some reforestation projects. We are doing some educational webinars to keep our rivers clean. We are trying to also work with some mayors and new candidates for new elections by the next year. So we are trying to adapt the new people that are coming for the mayors and the city halls, includes more environmental projects and more sustainable actions um, in their work. So we are trying to do something, and I think our people are waking up and looking at in the way that we were working previous to the pandemic is a way that we were like killing our natural treasures for the over tourism. So now I think people are more concerned about it, and we will try to do things better in the future. So I think everything happened for something, and in Peru, I think it was a good thing if we can change our way how to make tourism in the future.
A little silver lining to the pandemic, huh?
Yes, exactly.
Greg, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I have to say this pandemic has also given a chance to prepare our new programs and develop new initiatives. And I have to say we are well prepared for the upcoming, when the tourism opens up, and we are making like some connection like what you are doing really for us. So, and I hope that everybody has worked very hard to, to develop new tourism products, new itineraries, and we are fully now prepared because of being locked down, and we are just waiting for the vaccine to come out and we start seeing people really traveling again. And I have also to really thank you very much for really organizing this program, where we have come to meet really different people, even meeting my neighbors that I didn't know who are based in Arusha. So that's a very fantastic. So yeah, thanks everybody to everyone. Thank you.
Well, I really want to thank this panel. I think after listening, people understand why I'm very excited and to start a program where we can do something to help and to keep tourism alive, because it is a really, I mean, everyone here has just have put their heart and into their work and into their communities. And I just hope that anyone who wants to get involved and help or in any way that to let us know. And thank you, Jürgen, for letting us have this opportunity.
Robin, I'm absolutely impressed. You have a wonderful platform here, and you have an idea what is so much needed. And I think it's the only positive part in this pandemic, that people are able to come together with the help of Zoom and with the help of people like you and inventing this program. I feel we all know each other for a long time. We're all family already.
Right.
And, definitely you get my support 100% for what you're doing. And I love the idea to do a work group or a panel or a discussion group where we get people together within WTN and beyond. And if you wanted to lead it, it would be wonderful. Just give it a name and we can announce it on the 9th.
All right, I'd be happy
tomorrow.
to.
Yes.
Yeah.
and add you to it. And everyone else, I was curious, I would want to listen to Lillian, and you had all these birds. I felt like I was actually there. What? Can you turn the camera on? I don't know if you can.
Actually outside. So I'll show you. This is actually the outside area. And yeah, I'm basically outside. I was like, how do I get the green background? So I was like, okay, I think I have actually so I was like, I'm gonna be out anyway. So yeah, it's
that's
beautiful.
Wonderful. You got a beautiful place there, and it must be. I think it's 8 in the morning where you are right now, right?
Yes, it's 8. It's actually 8.
Actually, tomorrow at 6 in the morning, I believe, your time. I'm sorry, at 8 in the morning also, exactly this time at 6 a.m. We have another session about Tanzania. We actually be learning from Peter Bryan. He runs Mafia Island. I don't know if you know where this is.
Yeah, I know where
on their coastline. And he has worked out a blue plan. We had worked on this blue plan with rebuilding.travel, how to reopen tourism in Tanzania and in East Africa. So you might want to tune in tomorrow, and anyone else who wants to listen to it. I think he's quite a smart guy, and we hope he will give us some other ideas. I'm so homesick also to Bhutan, one of my favorite places. And it was so long that I was in Bhutan. It's a very special place in my heart. I never forget actually the store when I was in Bhutan. And I think before you guys had credit cards, and they had the sign there, we trust in God and everyone else pays cash. I never forget that.
Oh, that's great.
One of these small stores. And Peru, also I have to say, it's very close to my heart. I've been to Peru many, many, many times. I had an office in Peru actually back in the 80s, a tour operator, and a very dear lady I know for almost 25 years in Peru. And I called her my mother in Peru. She passed away on Corona just very recently, and it was very sad. I wasn't able to say goodbye, but it's something what is with us everywhere. And of course, Greg and I, we know each other. I think last time we met at ITB, or was it World Travel Market? It was about a year or so ago. ITB, of course, this year wasn't, but and Greg is an amazing guy. I always liked his approach for Rwanda, and we're looking forward working with him and everyone else of you. And thank you so much for being part of this. And Robin, yes, please send me the name of your group, and we get it up.
Okay.
And hopefully we can all meet again very soon.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. And I do think that, you know, like you said, that everyone kind of feels like family. And that's also something that I'm hoping that after, a 90-minute experience with people talking together and sharing, that they come away with the same feeling. So.
Yeah, and also I wanted to say, I told you I had another meeting at 7, but I moved it 15 minutes. So if anyone else wants to, has a question, I know Stephen is always there in New York. It's very late for you. Anyone else who is not just a small group of us, if you have anything you wanted to ask or contribute, feel free to do so. And otherwise, if not, again, thank you so much for everyone.
Well, thank you for everyone. I think it's listening to everyone in the panel. It's fantastic, to hear the work that all of you are doing, and especially the dreadful pandemic we're dealing with, which has really affected our work. However, with all the positive things that all of you are doing, I'm quite sure that it will work out just fine. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
My pleasure.
So I will just say something. I just want to thank you, Robin, for putting this up. I'd like us to, I'm actually looking very forward for us to actually show people what we have here in terms of culture and what Mama Hannah has actually reserved for people. It's really amazing what she's been doing. And I think it's a very interesting story, and we look very forward to share this visual meeting with you all. I hope during this pandemic time, things will actually, get better with what we're doing, because I think there's nothing much we can do except just trying to be really creative and, make every single second counts for what we do, and actually bring our community together. This part of of this pandemic, it's horrible, but there's nothing much we can do. And,
and what Robin said, what I really liked is, this is also something after the pandemic, because it is true, not everyone can travel. Not everyone has the financial means to travel like that.
Yes.
Or they have, this is really a good business opportunity after all. We're all in the travel business. We all need this business to pay our bills. So I really like this approach. Also, one more reminder for our friends in Bhutan, or of course anyone else, we have Deepak Joshi. Deepak is a good friend, and he was the head of the Nepal Tourism Board for many years. He's doing a panel on December 17th with us in London time, 9 a.m. You might want to join us. He's going to have people actually from Nepal, from India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and Bhutan. So, so we can hear a little bit more from that area. And we have a lot coming up also with East Africa, with Nigeria, West Africa. So look at our program, and everyone is invited to be part of it. And yes, please, let's stay in touch. We're friends now.
Yes, indeed. Family.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I say something? My name's Richard. I'm actually on the other end. I don't run tours. I go on tours. So I'm a client of Robin's. I've been on a lot of tours. I know Pepe and have loved the trip to Peru. And all of you are reminding me that these are the trips that I haven't yet been able to go on. But as I sat here, first of all, thank you so much, Jürgen, for putting this together, and Robin. It was great. I've wanted to meet all of you, and now I feel like a little bit like I have. But what's really interesting as I sit here, that's really fascinating to me, and I sit here bundled up in Phoenix, Arizona, where it's supposed to be, 50 degrees Celsius all the time. It gets cold here during the winter too. But as I sit here, there's two things that hit me. The first is, as I think back about things that have happened in the past, whether there's been viral outbreaks in Africa, or whether there's been torrential flooding in South America, or uprisings or whatever, there's always been time, always, where each and every one of you has been completely devastated from travel in your country or your part of the world. But I can't think of a time where literally every country has been shut down. So one, as bad as the bad days get, realize there's probably somebody else in your industry that's even worse off. And second, and this is coming around to the more lightened part, there is going to be pent-up demand for what you do like you have never seen in your lifetimes.
Very true.
I don't know if it's in 6 months or 9 months or 12 months, but certainly within 12 months, you're going to start seeing a backflow of people who, I haven't taken a vacation personally in February. I took one in February. But I've already canceled my vacation for the first half of next year. So the earliest I'm going anywhere might be Bhutan. But just realize there's really, I think what Robin's trying to do with online and do something now, that's great. I mean, that is really awesome. And something that you can develop now that even once traveling starts, you might want to do. I mean, the world has changed. People are buying groceries different. That'll never go back. People are buying clothes different. That'll never go back. People are going to buy adventure and tourism in a way that will never go back to if you create it well. But there is going to be demand. So it's just hold out a little longer and the floodgates are going to open.
Thank you. And I think that that's one of the things that we're hoping by doing these virtual travels is that we'll be on, keeping people on like in their face a little bit too. So
well,
thanks, Richard.
Well, wonderful. Sorry, Richard, I couldn't find your picture. I would have put you in the spotlight. You were on my second page, so I didn't.
No problem. No problem.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you have a nice morning, afternoon, or late evening, wherever you are.
Thank you.
And thank you for participating. I don't know all your languages. Asante sana, I think, in Kiswahili.
Asante sana.
And I know muchas gracias to Pepe. And in Bhutan, is it Namaste also, or?
Here.
It's a Tashi Delek.
Tashi Delek.
Okay. Yeah, very nice. And Phoenix and Chicago, good night. And from my end, aloha from Hawaii. And hopefully I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this podcast from livestream.travel, reporting for eTurbo News and Hawaii News Online. We hope we see you again next time. If you have any questions or if you have comments or you like to be featured in an upcoming podcast, please visit us at livestream.travel and click on contact. Again, livestream.travel and click on contact. You have a great day. Thank you.